Hello again, everyone, and welcome to 90s to Now. I am Jerry Strauss, and I'm here, you're here, we're all here together because we love the 90s and so many of the people, the places, the things that were a part of it. That's why we're here, and especially happy to be here this time out. Hope you guys are too, because this is a show that we're about to talk about and some people that we're about to talk to that are beloved not only all across the United States but all over the world. You want to talk about iconic, you have to talk about Baywatch. And we've been talking a lot about it lately because after Baywatch, the docuseries brand new on Hulu has been the talk of the town. And our two guests this week are a big part of that, as well as the original series. Erika Eleniak, Billy Warlock, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Doing
I'm
great,
good.
thank you.
Great to have you guys with us. You guys are such an important
Glad to
part
be
of
here.
such a big part of the fabric of this show. That is Baywatch, and thus such a big part of pop culture from then on. Because it has remained such a big part of our society, and just our zeitgeist. Docuseries aside, did you guys think back then, because you both stepped away from Baywatch in sort of in the middle of the run, but did you guys think that Baywatch would still be such a big part of your life and just a big part of life in general in 2024?
Absolutely
Erica?
not. Nope.
Me neither.
Yeah. No way to predict.
And
No.
really, to be honest with you, I still don't really feel like it's probably not the right thing to say at this particular time. You know, with the show coming out tomorrow and everything, but it's so much in my past, and I don't even feel like it's still part of. I mean, it was great seeing everybody a few weeks ago when we all got together, but outside of that, it Baywatch has been a fond, distant memory
Yeah.
for me, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's incredible. I'm so happy for the success of the show.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like that's definitely when I've traveled overseas for work. It's a totally different ball game over there when you go to Europe than it is being here because they absolutely treat you like royalty because of Baywatch overseas. Um, so it's really interesting to take a step back and see what the show has done from then until now.
Yeah, and I think that it's very palpable. It's very obvious that those who loved the show back then, so many of them are still very invested and interested in the show now. And that's, you're seeing that right now because of all the conversation and all the interest in this docu-series. People want more Baywatch. They want to know more about what went down behind the scenes at Baywatch. And it's almost like a whole new layer of interest in the show, like a whole new wave of buzz around Baywatch. So I mean, like it or not, it's here to stay, guys.
Well, I
Yeah.
like it. I'm very, I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm glad for those that are, you know, still relishing in it and all that good stuff. It's just for me, God, what's it been, Eric? It's been almost 35 years since
Yeah.
we did it or what have you.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a long time ago. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it is.
and it is kind of funny that out of I've done, and I've been a lot. Uh, I'm Baywatch Billy. I mean, it's bizarre to me, considering I only did 2 seasons, right? And I'm still, that's what I'm most recognized for. And
Yeah.
and I spent well over 20 years in daytime, and along with movies and everything else. But Baywatch is still one of the probably the most defining thing I've done.
Yeah. Agreed. Feel the same way.
Yeah. It's really a common thread, I think, for a lot of these conversations we've had on this show, because so many of those shows and movies and music and everything else that people have created, whom we've talked to on this show, they've just stood the test of time. That generation just has kind of followed us as those who grew up in it continue to evolve in their lives. They've continued to just love things like Baywatch. Case in point, the absolute flood of interest, of questions, of comments, of just an outpouring of excitement at the announcement that you guys were going to be on the show. We got so many people who they know they're going to learn all kinds of things on the docuseries. They know that they're headed to Hulu, they're headed to After Baywatch, but they don't want to wait. They want to get a preview. They want to get some inside scoop from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So if you don't mind, let's hit it hard. Let's go through some of these questions and see what we can pull out.
Bring it on.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah.
Right. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're going to go first to Dawn Smith. And, you know, this is interesting to me because this feels like more of what you guys would have lived through being part of the early part of the series where David Hasselhoff was the known name when the show first started. What was it like to act with legend and my hero, David Hasselhoff? Now, you know, as time went on, obviously, you were all, like everyone involved with the show has become a pop culture icon and a megastar. But what was it like to work with David in the early going when he was sort of the man as far as the cast goes? He was the guy that people knew.
Erika, do you want to answer that first? Or you
Sure.
want me to jump in?
Okay. I'll take it. Yeah, David was a lot of fun. I would say David was a big personality, bigger than life personality, a lot of energy and a lot of fun. He was a prankster. So yeah, this set was pretty energetic when David was on.
Yeah, he's a pro and a lot of fun. I mean, he's got an incredible sense of humor. But, you know, for me, the interesting thing was I was most excited to work with David because I knew David on a personal level very well before we worked together on Baywatch. I worked with his ex-wife on a soap opera for a couple of years, and that's how David and I got to know each other. And so I was looking forward to working with David just from the mere fact that I knew him on a personal level, and I knew he was a hoot. So yeah, I was looking forward to it.
Very cool. Very cool. The other question from Dawn, this is kind of a big one to start with. What was the best thing about being in Baywatch? What do you take away from it, from that experience of those couple of seasons of being a part of the show?
You know, for me, you know, the and the cast, of course, I mean, it was incredible every day. I mean, of course, there were difficult situations, given that California beaches aren't quite as sunny and warm and beautiful as they are portrayed. So some days were very. But at the time when I was making the show, quite honestly, was the person that you're also talking to over there, Erika. I mean, Erika and I got very close on the show, as everybody knows, and that really made the experience that much better for me. So, you know, yeah, that's that. Yeah, well, you know, come on, it was a good time. It was a good time, and you know, I mean, there were aspects of it that got difficult with the politics of it all, if you will, but the day-to-day work and, like I said, the relationships with the cast and crew was incredible.
Yeah. I would say for me, the same thing, the cast and the crew, the camaraderie between everyone was just like a big family. We just had a great time together, and we had each other's backs.
Mm-hmm.
And Billy, absolutely. We had a great relationship. And that did make it really fun to go to work and safe, you know, it's really safe to go to work having you there. And, yeah, just the family of that's it. Whenever anyone asks me my favorite memory of Baywatch, it's not an episode. It's not like, you know, one particular thing that happened. No. It's the camaraderie with all of the people and the relationships. I 100% agree with Billy.
Yeah.
Very cool. Tim Walker, our buddy, would like to know, and this is for Billy. Billy, how does working on a show like Baywatch compare to working on daytime TV, on a soap opera?
Well, the way soaps are done are very different than the way Baywatch is done. Baywatch is done like a movie. whereas soap operas are 3 cameras, 3 and 4 cameras, very much like doing a sitcom. You have anywhere between 25 and 60 pages of dialogue a day on a soap opera, where you're shooting 8 pages a day, 9 pages a day on Baywatch. Yeah. And you may not be in but 2 of those pages that day. We do, like, Baywatch was physical, whereas the soap opera is not. I mean, they're both very different, but I enjoyed doing both of them very much the same. Although I have to admit, I did enjoy myself on Baywatch a little bit more, just because, when you're working on a crew with a crew like Baywatch, or like we had on Baywatch, it's like doing a movie. You become, it's just like a family, like Erika was saying. And you do want a soap opera, but it's just different. It's a different vibe. On a film set like that, like Baywatch, it's I don't know, it's just more intimate, and it's just, you just feel more attached to these people for some reason, as opposed to, okay, I got to get through my 80 pages of dialogue and get the heck out of here. Like Erika was saying, it's a little more family oriented than, say, a soap opera is.
It feels it feels like the atmosphere, there'd be a lot more downtime between shots and stuff for you guys to just kind of be together and bond, versus the go of a soap opera.
You're right. You're right about that. Although, there is a lot of waiting on soap operas as well. But yes, I mean, a lot of actors say you don't get paid to act, you get paid to wait. And, that's true. Although I will say Baywatch was a machine. It was a machine. There wasn't a lot of waiting around, and they did their best to put your scenes, if you had several scenes that day, to put them back to back so you weren't waiting around too often. They were very good about that. It was just a great experience from that aspect.
Great. Adele Ferrara chimes in, and this is for Erika. What made you decide, and actually inevitably we're going to ask you the same question, Billy, but what was it that was the impetus for you making the decision to leave Baywatch?
The show went in a different direction. So when we first started Baywatch, it was a serious look at lifeguarding. You had your cop shows, your lawyer shows, your doctor shows. This was a show about lifeguarding, which no one had done before. And it was, the storylines were amazing, and everything was really done by the book. The suits were like regulation suits. And the show, when it went syndicated, it really took a kind of wild turn. The necklines plunged, and there were the music montages, which were wonderful, by the way. The show became more eye candy, which is what made the show so amazing and probably gave it its longevity. So no ill will or disrespect. It just wasn't where I wanted to be. I wanted a serious career. Right. And then we had some politics going on too. Unfortunately, sometimes that happens. That didn't help the situation. So I felt like it was time to go. I wanted to really pursue a film career, and it just seemed like the right time.
Okay. And Billy, will throw that question to you as well.
I completely agree with everything that Erika said. For men, it's a little bit different, right? I mean, we're not as objectified as women are at times. And certainly on Baywatch, the women were far more objectified than the men were. I mean, or when I was on the show. Now, what it became and what I saw when I would tune in every once in a while just to say hello, that level field became a little more, I should say that playing field became a little more level. The men were definitely, hotter than me. And, it became a little more eye candy than when I was on the show, for sure. Especially with me there, not necessarily what you would call eye candy. So,
stop it.
Come on. But at the same time, it was politics for me. Erika, myself, and David are the only ones that experienced 2 different regimes, right? When we were on NBC, we had a legit regime. Now, I'm not saying that the boys that took over the show weren't legit. It just went in a different direction. And there were promises made that weren't kept. And that had everything to do with why I no longer wanted to do it, because I felt like I was in a dishonest venue, and I don't like working in that. And but that was business, not personal. All the people that I'm even talking about, without mentioning names, on a personal level, loved them, got along with them very well. Just business wise, we had a couple of different ways of looking at things, is all.
Yeah, and this is the kind of insight that you guys are going to get to hear more about, all the behind the scenes scoops that maybe you've been wondering about for years. It's all gonna. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stories told on After Baywatch on Hulu, which, as we're speaking, it's dropping tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah.
Correct.
So when you guys check it out, it will be coming either very soon or it will be available for you immediately on Hulu. Kenny Clark, my question is for Billy. I loved you as Eddie. One of my favorite moments is when you guys did Gilligan's Island. How was it doing that with some of the actors in the cast of the show? Also, Kelly O'Brien Wesendorf chimed in. Similarly, I absolutely love the craziness in the Now Sit Right Back episode. What was it like to work with Dawn Wells and Bob Denver? Icons.
It was awesome. I mean, it was a dream come true. I mean, I grew up watching the show, and there he was. And it was a little intimidating trying to, play a young Gilligan when you have the, iconic Mr. Denver there. You're like, okay, I'm in trouble.
Right.
But it was great. And Erika knocked out Ginger. I mean, knocked it out of the park. Everybody. Greg Alan Williams crushed it. And Tom crushed the professor, and I got to kiss Marianne. Come on. No. How great is that? No, it was awesome. I have to say I would say that's one of my favorite episodes for sure on the second season, without a doubt. Had a ball.
Same.
And it's so interesting to think about it. It just really occurred to me, just as different as the shows were, talking about Gilligan's Island, talking about Baywatch, I feel like there are aspects of them that made Gilligan's Island so popular for decades. And I think Baywatch, it's almost that same effect. It's just like something that's, just so well remembered. It was kind of not always light, but it was just enjoyable TV that we always look back fondly on. So it's kind of a cool generational thing that, you guys did Gilligan, and now we're looking back at Baywatch the same way.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it's just mindless, enjoyment. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not like you have to try to figure out what's going on. It's all laid out for, and it's just pure fun.
TV.
Yeah. It is. It's fun. And you said Baywatch, that's what Baywatch was. Really, I mean, in the first season, there were things going on that kind of had a soap opera feel, for sure. Relationships were being built, this, that, and the other. But in the first season of syndication, I didn't really sense any of that. Now, I have to admit, I didn't watch the show as it progressed. So I don't know what went on later on. If it had that soap opera feel, if relationships within the cast, grew like Erika and I, Eddie and Shawnee and things like that. I really don't know. I assume they did. Did you see it, Erika? Do you know?
No, same. I really didn't follow it after we left. We just kind of moved on, right, and did other things. So I didn't stay with it.
Gotcha.
I mean, I've heard the rumors, but no, I don't know for sure.
Well, we have another question for you, Erika. This is also from Kenny Clark. I loved you so much as Shawnee. Do you keep in touch with Sean Weatherly, aka Jill? That scene with the shark was such a tearjerker to watch. Now, that was an emotional, I don't know if high point's the right word, but certainly an emotional peak and or valley of those early episodes of the show. A highlight for sure. What was it like for you to be a part of that sort of storyline, that sort of scene? And do you still keep in touch with her?
I don't keep in touch with Sean. And again, I don't like to gossip, so I'm not sure, but I have heard that she quit the business. So, and, went on to have a family. And so I do not keep in touch with her. I hope she's doing well. That show, first of all, I'm shark phobic, like completely shark phobic. I won't put a toe in the water. I'm just telling you that right now. I will not. So that show for me was creepy. It was emotional, but it was also a little scary, the whole storyline for me, because I really truly am shark phobic. So yeah.
But still, I mean, and again, we've spoken about how the tone of the show was a little different in the first couple of seasons, but still, for Baywatch, a pretty emotionally charged situation
Definitely.
where you got to display your chops. So that's cool.
My chops.
Your chops, yeah.
My chops.
I don't know. Seems to be shark-like.
I know. I was going to say with the shark, my chops.
Yeah. That's good, actually. That
good, yeah.
Let's see here. Pterodactyl 999, not including Baywatch. What were some of the projects that each of you have enjoyed working on? Actors you've enjoyed working with? Now we know that you guys have both had amazing careers. If you were approached by somebody who knew you guys only from Baywatch, and you wanted to give them a good, strong example of something else in your career that you would like them to see that you're proud of, what would that thing be?
For myself, I mean, I was very blessed and fortunate to get some great opportunities. I got some really great film opportunities. I really loved, I will say, from my most fun would have been the Beverly Hillbillies playing Ellie Mae Clampett. And working with that cast was phenomenal. I would just go to work like a sponge and try to take it all in, and just was in awe of Cloris Leachman and Lily Tomlin and Dabney Coleman and on. There's so many other, Rob Schneider. There's like, the people were just incredible to work with. So that for working with the actors. And then for me, I worked on a small little tiny film called The Opponent, where I played a boxer. And I started out as a ring girl and then was in an abusive relationship. So I got to actually train and box. And I'll tell you what, I had to do everything myself. We didn't have stunt people or anything. So I definitely had my clock cleaned a couple times. I had my headgear punched off my head and bounced out of the ring. And I mean, it was an incredibly difficult and challenging role. But at the very, very end of all of it, I sat in a Q&A and I heard somebody say, I don't know who the actress is, but is she a boxer? And that was the best compliment I could ever have heard. I was so happy. So that would be the one that I would say I worked my tail off and was proud of.
Cool. Billy Baywatch. What else do you want to let those people know that you've done?
It's kind of difficult. I would say I got to work with Joe Kleber, which was a thrill of my lifetime, because I mean, we're talking about an Oscar winner, and that was playing one of the Menendez brothers. Although I don't feel I was very good in that movie, to be honest. It all happened so quickly, and I was thrown into it, and it was like, meat to the wolves. It was a tough thing to do. But getting a chance to work with her and sponge off of her, and I too did a boxing movie with Kathy Moriarty, who she was amazing. But
Billy, you there? He's frozen in time.
He's frozen in time.
I think we lost you there for a moment, Billy.
Am I
You're back? You're back. Yeah. We
okay.
You froze up for the last 15 seconds or so.
Yeah, I got to do.
Uh-oh. And he's gone. Come back.
He's messing with us.
He's messing with us.
We're being punked.
That's right. We're being punked. Come back, Billy. Come back.
Live. I'm trying. Am I lost? Am I gone?
No. Well, now you're back.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I can see you guys. Okay,
Yep.
good. All right. I'll make it quick in case you lose me again. I got to do a play at the Public Theater, which is, Shakespeare in the Park, Joe Papp, blah, blah, blah. It's the theater to do. I mean, it's it. And I did a play called The Normal Heart. And it is now a movie on HBO. You can check it out. Matt Bomer plays my role. Just an amazing cast. Julia Roberts, all the Mark Ruffalo, all the biggies got to do it. But I got to do that at the Public Theater, and that's the most proud thing I've ever done. To do I wasn't a theater guy, and nobody thought I would get it. But I flew to New York, I chased it, and I got to do it with Larry Kramer, who is the guy that wrote it, who created the GMAC, which is the Gay Men's Health Crisis, which when AIDS was huge back in the late 70s, early 80s, he was the guy that fought for it. So anyway, that is definitely the thing I'm most proud of, for sure. Doing that for 6 months, that killed me, but it was great. It was amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Satoshi Nakamimiko, what was more difficult? And both of you can weigh in on this, but was it physical challenges like swimming or any of the other physical things you guys were called upon to do on Baywatch, or more of the emotional challenges like that episode where Shawnee was dating that abusive guy? Which felt more challenging to you guys to tackle?
Go ahead, Erika.
Okay. Definitely the physical for me. Because I'm not a strong swimmer, and my character was an Olympic swimmer. The conditions, as Billy had mentioned before, really difficult to swim in January, and they come at you with the spray bottles to make you look hot and sweaty, and the big Kino lights to make it look sunny. And it was not easy working with the elements, because often they worked against us. And there was a lot of, stunt work. We did have a lot of very physical shows. So we had a lot of physical demands really placed on us. And for me, the physical stuff on land was not a big deal. I mean, I do enjoy, especially after Baywatch, as I grew up a little bit more, I really enjoy getting physical with the work, but not in the water for me. So yeah, that's my answer. The physical aspects.
None of it for me. It was all great. I loved all the physical stuff. I was a swimmer in high school. That's what I did. So, I remember when I got cast, Greg and I would talk about junior guards down at Zuma Beach, which if you haven't talked to some of the cast members who have kids that go to this thing, junior guards, I did all that. I mean, yeah, the physical aspect I absolutely loved doing. Now I agree with Erika. I mean, there are days when it was just miserably cold, and because California beaches, the water, if you're lucky, if it's 60, 61, 62, you're lucky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, and it's not all that clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I love the physical stuff, and the acting part of it compared to doing a soap was pretty simple.
And meanwhile, you've got the entire world watching this show thinking, man, these guys are on the hot beach every day, just soaking it up, enjoying themselves. Best job in the world. And it may well have been the best job in the world, but it wasn't exactly the way it appeared to be, obviously.
Oh, no, we'd have to, I mean, Eric and I would have to get to work at, between 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, get all ready to go. And then they'd have big arcs set up, big arc lamps set up, so that as soon as the sun came up over the Santa Monica Mountains, boom, they were going, and we were shooting by 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, first thing. And, and like Eric was saying, in January, it's like 55 degrees, and we're supposed to act like it's 90, It was brutal.
I'm curious, from both of your perspectives, continuing to work in entertainment, continuing to work in Hollywood, do you think that the way that the show was shot and sort of the standards for safety and the allowances for you guys to go out there and do these physical things, do you think that would have been different now? Do you think that it was more wild, wild west back then with less things in place to maybe protect you guys from having to deal with some of that stuff?
I think they did a great job, actually. They kept us really safe. They surrounded us with real lifeguards, big guys, stunt people, always safety meetings. They really did a good job. I definitely felt safe. And when there were times where we couldn't use a stunt double for me and I had to be in there, they had me surrounded and guarded just in case. So I think they did a great job in that department.
Great.
Totally agree with Erika. Yeah, never felt like I was in danger whatsoever.
Awesome. The Juggernaut 4820. And here's an interesting question. We obviously don't have to get into great detail, but we know Hollywood has changed so much. We just went through the strikes about so many of the issues on both sides of the camera regarding pay and such. Would you say that for the positions you guys were in at the time that you were on the show, did you feel, looking back, the pay was good compared to other acting jobs? How did you feel about that then, and how do you feel about it looking back now?
Really?
Well, no. To be honest, I don't know what's really going on now with streaming. Quite honestly, when I do talk to some of my fellow actors, that if you're not number one or number two on that call sheet anymore, you're really not getting paid all that much anymore. Yeah. So I think back then, in general, the pay was probably better across the board. But when it came to Baywatch, that was part of the political aspect of my leaving. Kind of promised one thing and then another thing happened. But looking back in retrospect, I think overall most actors were probably a little more protected in their pay than they are now, because like I said, Erika, you've probably done a lot more recently than I have. And I know that people that friends of mine that have been on Netflix and things like that, like I said, if you're not number one or number two on that call sheet, you're really not going to get to retire anytime soon. So, I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm told. Don't really know, to be honest. Erika?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Baywatch, was the pay amazing? No. And I went on to do other things, but the other things, I didn't go on to do other television series. I kind of really launched straight into film and films one after the other. So the pay was
great.
It's great. And it's also different, like you're paid differently. So it's a flat rate. You're not getting a weekly paycheck. So yeah.
I mean, the money on NBC was good, and I knew it was going to be really good had the show continued on. Unfortunately, it didn't. But when we went into syndication, the things went awry. Yeah. Which is why, if you notice when you watch the show, cast members last 3 or 4 seasons. Why is that? Do the math. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. It's called pay time, and they go, okay, we'll get another body.
Right.
That's just the way it was.
Yeah. And it sounds like in many situations the way it continues to be. But
yeah.
Actual ad 6678 would like to know, Eddie and Shauna were 2 of the characters on the show with the most character development. Are you satisfied with the way their stories went, and what would you have changed? So you guys got to have your outro, so to speak, and of course we got an addendum to that story when you came back, Billy, for the reunion. But as far as just your exit from the show, your initial exit from the show, did you feel like the story did the characters justice?
Not overly. I kind of feel like it was a quick kiss off a little bit. I think we could have developed a little bit more where Eddie and Shawnee were going and what we were going to be doing, and as opposed to just the quick wedding and sort of send off. I would have liked to have seen that developed a little bit more. Billy, you went back for the reunion. What happened to us?
Don't get me started.
Wait, are you hearing this for the first time?
I am. Did we get a divorce? Did
no, yes. I believe, we definitely, okay. Typical in Baywatch fashion, I was not really explained properly what happened. It was just do it. So to not elaborate with what Erika said about the leaving when we left the series, I'm going to give him a get out of jail free card on that one. Due to the politics, things ended quite quickly, and I think they just were like, okay, we gotta scramble, we gotta recast, we got lots of changes we got to make, and they were more concerned about that than they were about us and our relationship. And you know what? I'm going to give them a get out of jail free card on that one. It's okay. I get why they were feeling like, hey, we don't have time to really get into it. Now, when it comes to the reunion, it was real simple. Erika didn't want to do it. I was doing GH at the time, and I was like, how much? Yeah, I'll do it. And got to go to Hawaii for 3 weeks. And, I did not know what I was getting myself into or what my character was going to be doing. I just kind of showed up, and there it was. So basically, we were broken up. I had one scene with John Allen Nelson where somebody comes up and says something to me, and I flippantly, or I should say Eddie flippantly goes, it's always Eddie and Shawnee, never just Eddie. It's Eddie and Shawnee. I have no idea what the hell that means or why I had to say that, but that was the bow in the box that I got regarding our relationship. It was never told, never explored. When I asked, I basically just got a blank stare of, it doesn't matter. And then next thing I know, I'm a womanizing guy and end up with Yasmin Bleeth. It made no sense, but I didn't care. I mean, it's what it was. And to me, it was 3 weeks in Hawaii, a good paycheck, and I got to see a couple of people that I really enjoyed being around.
Yeah,
that's it.
Erika, I feel terrible that you had to find out about this way after all this time.
Damn it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Erika, we don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened
to you. I really don't.
Well, no. It's a good segue. Unpredictive List popped in a message just asking very blatantly, why didn't Erika decide to do that reunion? Were you, I assume you were given the invitation. Was it a schedule thing, or was there a different kind of motivation behind that decision?
I'd like to know too.
Well, here's the thing. There was a stigma attached to Baywatch, which we talk about in the docuseries more extensively. Yeah. But when you did Baywatch, you were not taken seriously as an actor. And I had to work very hard to get the opportunities that I was given just to audition for the roles that I was pursuing. And so there were quite a few times where I was asked to leave an audition or came down to the wire to get between me and someone else. And then the Baywatch credit came up. So I was really afraid to keep associating myself with Baywatch just from the standpoint of getting other legit good acting opportunities. It was nothing against, it sucked because I love the people, as I said, and Billy's going to do it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't an easy decision to make, but it was one that I felt I had to make for my career.
Yeah.
Oh. See, she had integrity. I sold my soul to the devil a long time ago. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it.
We all have our own paths. We all have our own path. Well, look, guys, we could go on and do this forever. I've got so many more questions, so many more things we could talk about. I want to finish with a question that I don't know how much detail we can get into this, but I just want to ask you guys flat out, because there is a word out on the street that there is some version of a Baywatch reboot in development for Fox. Do both of you, either of you, do you feel like it's a good idea to bring some version of Baywatch back? Does that sound like a cool thing to bring back in 2024? And if there was a possibility of being involved, how would you feel about that? opportunity.
Erika, you can lead off.
All right. I think it's a great idea. I mean, Baywatch hasn't been on for so long. They remake everything. Why not remake Baywatch? I think it's a great idea. I hope that they'll do some things differently. It'll be more diverse, less body shaming, and great storylines. And I mean, there's just so much that they could do with it. I think it would be great, and I would consider being involved depending on what it was. I mean, I wouldn't be putting on a red bathing suit again and strutting around, but if it was a good role, I would definitely consider it. Yeah.
I agree with everything she's saying. I mean, I think nostalgia is incredibly popular right now, and obviously they would bring a lot more gravitas and reality to the show, and not so fantasy, which is exactly what it should be. What these guys do every day. These lifeguards are the real deal out there, and so I think they need to be shown. I think everybody needs to see what these guys and gals and what they go through, what is required of them. It's a heavy duty job. As far as being part of it, absolutely. I mean, nobody's going to want to see this old body shirtless again, but I'll tell you, let me be the David Hasselhoff when he came back, when he did give me the uniform and I'll tell you to go to Tower 28 and Tower 27. I'll do that all day long. But the shirt stays on. Trust me.
Look, hey, I think people would love to see this show. I think people would love to see you guys be a part of it. And I know that people are dying to see this docuseries. After Baywatch is on Hulu, as this drops, it'll be fresh, new, and available for you to watch right now. So check it out. Get so many more inside scoops about the behind the scenes world that was Baywatch, that these two fine people were a part of. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. It was awesome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And thank you guys for checking us out here on 90s to Now. And until next time, we will see y'all later. Thanks, guys.